And here we see a Stegoceratops pursuing a mate. And there goes the mate as a hybrid carnal raptor pursues a meal. The Stegoceratops battles a carnal raptor. It is a battle of the heroes. Who will triumph?
Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Hasbro Jurassic World Dino Hybrid Stegoceratops. I guess you could call this the Stegoceratops 2.0. Hasbro already did a Stegoceratops last year in the regular Jurassic Park line. This looks to be the same figure with a new head and a radically different paint scheme. Looking at the packaging here, it's the same thing you've seen before. It's nothing remarkable, but it gets the point across. Side of the box says Hybrid Stegoceratops. Opposite side says the same thing. And at the back, we get a very nice render of the Stegoceratops. So, it looks a little bit airbrushed here, a little bit different. Interestingly, on this one, the horns are pointing upwards, whereas on the actual figure, they're just pointing straight across, and it doesn't seem like they rotate. So I'm not quite sure why they made that change. It actually looks a little bit cooler right here. Kind of, sort of. But anyway, back here it says you have Bashing Attack and Hybrid Dinos Battle for Survival. Nothing new there. It says poses require hand support. And then there's your JW logo, Universal and Hasbro. Visit them online. And at the bottom, we got to look at other items that have already been released and reviewed here on the channel. So, okay, let me go ahead and take a few minutes to get this out of the box, and then we'll take a closer look and see what it's like. All right, you guys, so here is the Stegoceratops Hybrid out of the packaging. So last year, Hasbro released two versions of the Stegoceratops, and this was the second version that they did right here. For the hybrid version, Hasbro kept the same exact body and gave it a brand new, much larger head. Proportionally speaking, I think that this original one works quite a bit better. Not to mention the color scheme's a lot more naturalistic. When you look at this one right here, it's just got a humongous head. And because of how big it is, it's also quite heavy and just gets weighed down. You can't really see it too well when looking at it from the side. Despite that though, it still looks pretty good, especially since you have this all new paint scheme that mixes in these really nice shades of blue with orange and bronze metallic colors. As with before, I do think it looks better from the animal's right side, just as you see here, though of course you still get those screw holes. From the back, you can see that it has its tail straight up in the air, and as with before, they did not paint the spikes on its tail to differentiate them. Go ahead and give you a close-up here of the head, and it's actually detailed pretty nicely in terms of the sculpt. It's at least on par with the rest of the body, maybe even a little bit more detailed than that. It does look quite decent. I mean, they did give it a good bit of sculpt work and detail on there. Now, it does look pretty strange still, especially how these horns just kind of stick out so far and then come back inward. That was sort of the same before, but this looks a lot more natural, and I mean, I kind of get this as a hybrid. It should look a little more far out, but I don't know. I think it's just a little bit overdone. Not to mention because of how big the head is, it's really wobbly, and I've seen two of these guys now, and both were like this, so that's too bad. I just think it's a little bit too big. They were a little too ambitious with this one. But other than that, it looks okay. The paint scheme really does kind of save it, because if it was a bland paint scheme, it probably would look pretty awful. I really like the paint scheme on this guy. I think that it looks really good. This light blue is a very nice shade of blue that I actually really like. And then I love this royal blue here on the frill. I think that looks particularly nice. And just balancing that with the lighter blue and then this orangey gold color, it just really makes for a nicely colored dinosaur. Of course, you get more of that royal blue here around the feet. Underneath, you get more of that orangey gold color. And the plates on its back are also the same sort of color. And they do have a gradient to them. You can see they're more yellowish toward the bottom. And as you get higher up, they become more of this orange-brown sort of color. And that just looks fantastic. You also get these royal blue stripes here on the side. You get the dino damage, same as before, the JW logo. Now, unfortunately, they did not paint the plates from the back sides of them. I assume that in real life, it would have had color on this side of the plates too. I mean, I guess it's not really necessary because it's a toy, but they could have painted that. Same with these plates here on the tail. They should have painted those to match these, but it's not bad. But this whole line has been, about shortcuts. And even though it's an improvement in terms of color over the previous versions and looks more visually striking, they're obviously still taking shortcuts by not painting details like that or the spikes here on the tail. They also painted the toe claws on both the front and the rear legs, which they didn't do before, so it is nice that they did that this time. In terms of articulation, you can move the arms. They are pretty stiff, as was the case before, and they do move though. So, once you get them dialed in, it stands fine, no problems there. As far as the action features go, now this is interesting. So last time, you were able to use 2 action features with this. You could do this thing right here where you push the tail down and it kind of sticks the head out. And it still works, not quite as well, but it still works on this figure, probably because it has a larger, heavier head. It doesn't work quite as great. But the thing where you pull its tail side to side doesn't work anymore, at least not that well. If I bring in the original Stegoceratops, it goes forward like that, and it goes side to side very easily. This one, on the other hand, doesn't work quite as well. And the side to side action seems to be missing. And it seems like it should work, because if you look at it up here, you can move the head side to side. But like I said, I think it's probably because the head is just so heavy and so large that you can't use that action feature, and they probably realize that, and that's why they didn't advertise it on the box. So that is a bit of a bummer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Hasbro Jurassic World Dino Hybrid Stegoceratops. All in all, it's not too bad. It really isn't too bad. I actually quite liked the previous version that Hasbro did, especially the brown repainted version that we looked at earlier. This one takes that to a whole other level since it is a hybrid, so you get the huge skull, you get all the spikes on the head, and you get these very carrot looking horns. The sculpt isn't bad. It has some pretty good detail to it. Same with the head. You get quite a bit of detail on it, and that metallic paint scheme that you get really brings out a lot of these little details. I really think this is a nice paint scheme, and it's a huge improvement over most of what we saw last year with the regular Jurassic World toy line. It is a bummer that the action feature doesn't work as well as it did before, probably due to that large and heavy head. So it's not a perfect figure, but visually speaking, I think that it is one of the most interesting looking out of all the Hasbro Jurassic World Dino Hybrid toys. Just really like that paint scheme. I can't help but say it. It's a really nice paint scheme, and I really love all the colors and how they work together to make something that looks really cool. Alright my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. A special thank you to Lord Christine for coming on here and narrating our little Stegoceratops adventure. Be sure to check out her artwork. I will throw some links down in the description. Follow her on Twitter, and let me know what you think down in the comments about this toy. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and as always, I want to thank you for tuning in to Victoria's Cantina. Until next time my friends, bye bye.